Fresh off a win and throwing some hands with Paraguay, the U.S. men's national team is all set for their last match of the year. It's USA, Uruguay, Tuesday night. So let's talk about the Americans with Christian Polanco, one half of the Soccer Cooligans, in this edition of the Road to the World Cup. My man, what's going on?
What's good, man? Thank you so much for having me. Happy to always talk USMNT with you, brother.
All right, we need to talk to the casual fan here when it comes to American soccer. So help us out here. We're gonna go back to September because the U.S. men's national team has gone unbeaten in 4 straight matches against World Cup qualified opponents. Uruguay is ranked 16th in FIFA World Ranking, and they're unbeaten in their last 6. I know this is just a friendly, but what will this match tell you about Team USA, and give some insight to the casual soccer fan that's watching on what they should look out for in tonight's match?
As someone who is locked in and obsessed with the U.S. men's national team, there could be NFL, there could be other sports going on, but the U.S. soccer is definitely what I'm always watching. But if we can beat Uruguay, or at the very least have a good game, it just confidence is a huge factor going into this World Cup. Given that we're hosting it, we've already qualified. We're not playing in competitive matches to qualify for the World Cup. So you need a reason to get up to go to work. You know what I mean? Like if money wasn't a thing, would you go to work? Would you show up? That's the kind of thing. You got to have so playing against an opponent, a storied opponent, a World Cup winning country, if we could just play well, a victory would be icing on the cake. But if we could play well, it just tells us, all right, we're good enough to compete with some of the best countries in the world. And if we lose, then it goes back into the same, like, are we building the proper players to be able to compete at this level? And we kind of have the same exact narrative. But if we win, and we win convincingly, it puts us in a confident position to go into this World Cup and get as far as we possibly can.
One of those dudes who is kind of leading that forefront and getting some of these wins is this guy, Gio Reyna. This is the dude, for those who are listening right now, he was caught up in all that drama with his dad and former manager, Greg Berhalter. Showed up big time against Paraguay, man, and he was in his bag. So give me the 100. Has Gio made a case for him to be on the World Cup roster in 2026, and why?
If you would have asked me on Friday before this game against Paraguay, I would have been like, no, he does not. He has not made a case. He doesn't. I don't even think he made a case to get called up. But Gio Reyna is a player who we've seen for years develop and basically develop to be one of the most unique playmakers in the U.S. men's national team. Like, the U.S. doesn't develop players like this regularly. And he's just had a nightmare with the last couple of years with obviously the drama at the World Cup with his parents and the Berhalter family, injuries, a terrible loan to the Premier League and Nottingham Forest, and he just couldn't find any minutes. Even when he did play, it just wasn't fantastic. He moved from Dortmund to Borussia Mönchengladbach in Germany. Still not really getting any minutes, not really doing much to convince anybody to even deserve a World Cup, not even a chance of World Cup, but just even getting called into the national team. And then he plays against Paraguay, scores a goal early, completely confident, back heel passes, doing everything that you're just like, well, why can't you do this week in and week out for your club? Why aren't you getting these opportunities? Because when you put on the U.S. shirt, you look fantastic. So I was a doubter. I couldn't believe that he even got called up because he wasn't getting nearly any minutes. And now after that game, maybe it's the recency bias, but I'm like, bro, we don't have anybody like him. We might need him at the World Cup. He might not even get many minutes at his club. He might not even play much for the next 6 months and then show out at the World Cup. That is a real possibility with him. So right now, I'm going to say yes. And that goes against everything I've just said the last couple of weeks, because I cannot believe he even got the call up. But props to him for shutting me up and having a fantastic game.
Yeah, I mean, and he's saying that his stock is still rising because he said he's only 85% from that thigh injury that he's kind of suffered earlier in the Bundesliga season. So I'm going to keep my eye on that kid because I'm one of those people that hated on Gio Reyna and kind of got shut up last match. But let's talk about this roster construction as a whole, because you've got guys like Christian Pulisic and Weston McKennie out for now, but when this team is officially put together, do you think this could be one of the best or maybe one of the strongest Team USA rosters in recent decades?
On paper, yes. It very much looks like it. What I hope for going forward is I I've seen these games against these like CONMEBOL opponents, seeing against these South American opponents where we are like actually controlling the game, controlling the ball, is what I'd like to see. It's like the talent is there. It is the quality, the confidence, and if they can do that in any World Cup, they can be possibly anybody, right? Even if it's the giants of world football. So the this roster, this window is definitely much more experimental. Yeah, obviously no Weston McKennie, no Christian Pulisic, no Jedi Robinson. There's just a lot. I think Pochettino's at a place where he's like, this is probably the last window where you can kind of have fun with it, experiment, see who could like impress me.
Okay.
But seeing the opportunity, we'll see what happens against Uruguay. But seeing the moments for like Tanner Tessman, Diego Luna, Brendan Aronson. These are the players that like they could potentially come off the bench in the World Cup and do something special. So that I think that's what Pochettino is looking for. But on paper, this is a good team. It's one of the best teams we've ever had, especially like on paper, like and where these players play. Because 2002, 2006, like our U.S. players were not playing. They weren't all playing in Europe, playing in Champions League, winning Champions League in like competitive and important games throughout their club career. They just always found the grit and the heart to play and play well in when they're wearing the U.S. shirt. So my optimism is high, and that's on Pochettino. Pochettino is the one that convince these guys to give them the faith and belief that they can compete at this really high level and at the World Cup. So we'll see what these quote unquote friendlies. They mean a lot to me, and I think it's not just. I think result matters. I think the performance matters, but they have to. They just have to show that conviction. And I think just to wrap up, that fight against Paraguay where they all had a big scrum, and you've seen it in your NFL days, so bro. So that is what we want to see. That I think shows that they really have a belief that they support each other and defend each other. And given that it's not like regular clubs or leagues or whatever. They don't see each other that many times a year. But the fact that they would do that for a game like that and a game that they were winning, I think says a lot. So I think we're going in the right direction.
You said the friendlies mean a lot to you. And we just heard the news that Team USA and Portugal have signed off to play a friendly in Atlanta during the March international break. Cristiano Ronaldo is going to return to the U.S. for the first time since August of 2014. But back to that friendly. Good idea or no?
I mean, it's a great idea. I mean, regardless, I mean, who knows why Ronaldo wasn't playing in the U.S. for all these years? Nobody's going to ask. I don't know. But anyway, when it comes to playing against this kind of competition, it's only a positive sign. And to play huge matches against really competitive countries right before the World Cup, it's a desperate need for the U.S. So, we haven't had, I mean, the Gold Cup was really the last competitive tournament that we're going to have before the World Cup. And then that final against Mexico looked awful. Like we couldn't control the game, couldn't control the ball. And as long as there's as long as there's improvement from that, any big time matchups that we can schedule before the World Cup is a tremendous positive. So very much looking forward to it. And as long as it's a tough team to compare yourself against, I think that bodes a good sign for the U.S. going to the World Cup.
After tonight's game, you got some post-match analysis going. Go ahead, tell the people all about that.
Yeah, the Cooligans on Yahoo Sports. If we're gonna react immediately right after the U.S. Uruguay game, so you can join us on YouTube across all Yahoo Sports channels as well. But YouTube.com/Soccer Cooligans. Join us. I'm gonna be joined with Matt Doyle of MLS, the armchair analyst. There are very few people that know more about U.S. soccer and the U.S. men's national team than that man. So come by. It'll be a lot of fun.
My guy. See you soon.
Cheers, brother.